What's up, YouTube? It's your boy, it's your homie FuturisticMike, and I'm back with another Power Book 2 Ghost video if you're new. Now, this is going to be the recap for Power Book 2 Ghost Season 1, Episode 3. This is titled Exceeding Expectations. If you're a fan of Power, if you love Power, hit the like on this video. If you're new to my channel and this is the first time you're finding me, subscribe and turn on those post notifications so when I post videos on Power Book 2 Ghost, you get them. Now, this episode right here, man, this episode was good. You know, it had a lot of emotions in it when Tariq spoke at Ghost's funeral. This episode made me tear up a little bit because, you know, it made me realize that, damn, our main character that we love, Ghost, is actually gone. I mean, of course, we've all known that for a while, ever since Tariq shot him, but, you know, just the fact that they were actually having the funeral made it so real. And then I was thinking to myself, like, man, is this really happening? But I hope in the future, some type of way they can bring Ghost back. I guess it's time to let that theory go. If it happens in the future, it happens. But if not, then whatever. You know, rest in peace, Ghost. They still haven't put up the rest in peace Ghost picture, so I don't know. But I'm not gonna hold y'all up too much. Let's just get right into it. The episode first starts with Tasha. She's in the room, pacing back and forth, waiting for Davis McLean. So Davis McLean gets in there, and he has somebody with him. And this chick's name is Paula Matarazzo. I guess she's gonna be working with Davis McLean in the case. She's his investigator. So she exposes Ghost completely in this room. She says, yes, my husband was a criminal, drug kingpin, murdering mother. And Paula said, oh really, because they could never prove that. So she literally exposed Ghost. But I guess it is what it is because he's dead. And you know, he can't really do anything about it. So he is the best person to blame as of right now, because if somebody's dead, they can't talk about it. So it makes sense why she would want to blame Ghost. Then Davis McLean says, look, don't say anything else. Let's pretend you're under oath. And he starts asking her all these types of questions. He asks her, like, did you order murders? Did you commit murders? And all this and that. And of course she said no. Then we get to Tariq. He's counting his cash, and I assume he doesn't have enough because he looks pissed off. And then Zeke comes out the bathroom, and Tariq's like, damn, where you get all this fly gear at? And he's like, you know, my aunt Monet hooks me up because as long as I play basketball and do what I'm supposed to do, she hooks me up and gives me whatever I want. And he said, actually, I'm getting ready to go over there tonight for dinner. And Tariq's like, man, can I come over there for dinner? And I don't blame him for asking this because don't nobody want that college cafeteria ass food. So I don't blame Tariq at all, not one bit, for asking if he can come along. And I'm sure that's really not why he wants to come along, just because he's hungry. I'm sure he wants to get to know more about Monet and that entire family. But a brother can eat too. Then we get to the canonical studies class, and this chick, Brushandria, she's talking, she's acting all ghetto and everything. And I don't know how her ass got into this school. You know, I thought you gotta be super smart, super intelligent to get into this school. And the way she was talking, she just seemed real ratchet to me. But whatever. I feel like this scene was completely pointless. But anyways, Tariq comes in there. Jabari asks Tariq a question, and he starts talking. And then old girl sitting next to him, Lauren, she kind of puts him on blast. She says, what do you think about a certain thing? And your boy Tariq tried to answer, and then Jabari could see that he didn't know the answer, so that means that he didn't read the book once again. And we all know that Tariq didn't read the book once again because of Zeke. He's doing Zeke's work, and he doesn't have time to read his books and do his own work. So it's really kind of messing with him in his classes. So Lauren says, look, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to throw you under the bus like that. Then we get to Davis talking to Tariq, and Davis is just straight up with him. He's like, look, you're gonna have to bash your father at the funeral. You're gonna have to say bad things about him because it's either his legacy or it's your mother's freedom. So what's it gonna be, Tariq? Grow some balls. Next, we see Brayden talking to Tariq outside the college. Brayden's basically asking him if he needs anything. And then he mentions getting back in the game. He says, look, man, we was balling out at Choate. I'm trying to get back into whatever you're into. And Tariq said there ain't shit to get into. But we all know eventually, though, that Brayden probably will get back in the game with Tariq. So far, Brayden's character is a lot different than I thought it would be. You know, I thought right away we were going to see Brayden hustling in the streets, but he's nothing compared to Tommy. So people need to stop comparing Brayden to Tommy. They just need to let these characters be their own thing. Like, stop comparing them to the old characters, because these new characters are nothing alike. Next, we get to Monet, and she's laying in the bed with this cop that she's in bed with. She's doing whatever she can to make sure that she has a cop on the inside. I don't think she really feels for this dude. I don't think this relationship is really genuine. I think she just wants to use him for information and just have him there so if she gets in trouble, he's there for her. Because it seems like she's very uncomfortable in that bed with him, and then she says, look, you gotta get out of here before Kane and everybody else gets here. Because we know if your boy Kane catches his ass at the house, he'll probably kill his ass, no cap. Now next we get to your boy Zeke, and he's in Professor Caridad Milgram's office, and this dude is flirting like a mug. You wouldn't believe how bad this dude is flirting, and she's not giving him the time of day. All she can seem to talk about is Tariq. She keeps asking about Tariq. First of all, she's asking him about his work. She's asking him all types of questions. And when you go into the professor's office, you're gonna need to know some information. And he doesn't know a damn thing because Tariq is doing all his work, so he didn't really know what to say. I think she knew that Tariq was doing his work, but she didn't say anything. She still kept asking about Tariq. It seems like the professor has an unhealthy obsession with Tariq, and I feel like we're gonna see a lot more about that in the future. Then Tariq meets Simon Stern, and they go meet out for some coffee or whatever. They're talking, and Simon Stern is telling Tariq, like, you need to say good things about your father at the funeral. And Tariq is saying that Davis McLean, the lawyer, said to say bad things. And Simon is saying, look, that's not a good idea. You need to say good things because it'll affect our business if you say bad things about your father. And Simon says that Tariq reminds him of Ghost, and he says, I'm nothing like my father. He hates when people say that. He literally hates when people compare him to Ghost. Then we get to Sax, and of course, John Mock and Steven Ott are in there trying to convince him to really get this queen pin thing to stick on Tasha. He doesn't really want to do it because he knows Ghost was in charge, but he's being forced to do this. Then we get to Davis and Paula, and they're talking about the case, talking about James St. Patrick and Tasha and how she can't be the queen pin. And I think Paula is going to be a big help to Davis in this case. She's the investigator, so she's really investigating everything that's going on. And she knows right away, she knows straight up that Tasha is no queen pin. Then we see Tariq goes to visit Tasha in prison, and they're kind of talking about Ghost. Tasha says your father was a complicated man. Tariq is telling her how people want him to say bad things about Ghost at the funeral, and she says maybe you should protect your father. And everybody has a point when they say you should protect your father, because that really would be in everybody's best interest to protect him. Like, you don't need to blow him up like that. I just feel like that would be the wrong move. This dude walks into Sax's office, and Sax is trying to get this dude to help him on the case with Tasha, and this dude doesn't want to do it at all because he's butthurt about what Sax did in the past, because Sax pretty much is the one that got Donovan killed. If you guys remember Donovan, he got killed in episode 3 of Power Season 6. Dre killed him, but nobody knows that Dre killed him. People just think that, the cartel or the Jimenez or whatever got him, but that's not the case. But this dude is pissed off at Sax because he thinks Sax had something to do with it. And I gotta say that Sax is convincing as hell, because all Sax had to do was mention Davis McLean, and this dude says, oh, what, you're going up against Davis McLean? And then instantly, he got him on his team. So this dude is gonna be helping Sax in the Tasha St. Patrick case. Now Tariq goes and sees the professor, and this is a completely different conversation than it was when Zeke was in the office. She wants to know everything about Tariq. She's asking him questions. She's so concerned about him. But when Zeke was in the office, she still only wanted to know about Tariq. She has a crazy obsession with Tariq, and I don't know what it is. I don't know if she just wants to help this kid or if she has an attraction to him, because we know she does have an addiction. But Tariq gets a text from Zeke and says, where you at, time to go, and he says, can I be excused, and then he leaves. Then we get to Jabari and Caridad, and Caridad is telling him that she's holding a vigil for Tariq's father. And Jabari is saying that's not a good idea. You need to ask people what they want. You can't just force things on people and expect it to be okay. He was really speaking his mind when it came to this, but then he touched her. And as soon as he touched her, it was over with. They started having sex, and this is the actual first steamy sex scene we've seen in Power Book 2 Ghost, because we've seen a couple in the first episode, but that wasn't really nothing. Zeke was smashing some chick from the back, and then Kane was getting sucked off in the bathroom or whatever, but that doesn't really count. Now this is the first sex scene we actually really seen, and I thought it was kind of weak, but it is what it is. But Professor Milgram is fine as hell. I bet he was happy as hell when he was clapping them cheeks, because this dude seems to be kind of obsessed with the professor. You know, he seems to not be over her. He seems to be in love with her. I don't think it's a good idea that they work together, but we're gonna see what happens with them in the future, because then we see Kara Dad meeting with her sponsor, and she has a sponsor about a love and sex addiction and stuff. So, you know, she's addicted to sex. So all your boy Jabari really has to do is touch her, and it's on and popping. It'll literally be on and popping, and she'll drop them panty draws with the quickness for your boy Jabari. She'll probably do it for somebody else too, either Zeke, Tariq, or Braden, or somebody. Somebody's gonna clap those cheeks, you know, because she's addicted to sex. You know what's gonna happen eventually. Next, we get to the dinner table with Monet and the Tejadas, and Tariq is there. You know, everybody's having a conversation, and then Tariq's talking to Diana about an art class or something like that, and then Drew gets interested in it, you know, in the conversation. He's like, what class is that or whatever? Because we know Drew was not feeling your boy Tariq in the first episode. He was kind of giving him that dirty look. So I was thinking to myself, like, what's up with this dude Drew? Like, maybe he was just feeling him out, and he was like, man, I don't trust Tariq. But now it seems like, you know, he's interested in what Tariq is saying. I have a feeling that Drew and Tariq are gonna become boys. Next, we hear a knock at the door. It's this new character named Uncle Frank. You know, it's Lorenzo's brother. He comes in there saying he got out early. Apparently he had 2 more years left on his sentence, so they thought that was weird. Monet's like, how the hell did you get out? And then he starts questioning Monet about her business and everything that's going on in the drug operation. And Tariq is sitting right there, so Monet's pissed off. Like, she doesn't want Tariq to know all this business and everything. So she says, you know what, dinner's over. It's time for you to get out. Get your ass out of here. She says, Zeke, you been drinking, you stay the night. Kane, take Tariq home, and Drew, go talk to your Uncle Frank. So she ended that meeting real quick. Then we get to Kane getting ready to try to check Tariq. So he pulls over underneath some bridge or some alley or whatever. He gets out, Tariq gets out. He's like, look, what happens in the house stays in the house. Tariq's like, you don't need to try to scare me, man. You over here worried about me, but your uncle's a rat. So Kane's like, what did you just say? Watch your mouth talking about my family. And Tariq's like, man, even a blind person can see that. Like, Frank is a rat, and you need to open your eyes. Tariq really bossed up on Kane, and the way he came at Kane reminded me of Ghost straight up. They're definitely trying to make Tariq into Ghost, and it's working, man. This is gonna be Ghost 2.0, because the way he handled that was literally how Ghost would have handled it. The swag that Ghost used to have and everything, it's exactly the same in this scene. So I gotta give Tariq his props, man. I gotta take my hat off to Tariq, because he handled that like a true boss. Next, we get to the vigil that Professor Milgram is holding for Tariq's father. People are taking pictures by James St. Patrick's picture and everything, and Braden comes up and he gets pissed off. He starts swiping the phone out of people's hands and shit, and he's like, man, what the hell is wrong with you? Why is you doing this? And then Tariq walks up and he gets pissed off. You know, he's just looking like, why would you do this? He's looking at the professor with a mad ass look. He can't believe that she actually went and did this. She should have asked him first, for sure. And that's exactly what Jabari was telling her. Like, you can't just go and do stuff like this for people without their permission, because Tariq was not happy. So he said, come on, Braden, let's go to that party you was talking about. Now we get to Diana and Monet in the kitchen. You know, they're putting up food and everything from dinner, and Diana and Monet are talking about Frank, saying how he seems like a snitch. And Monet is basically telling Diana to use her power, because Uncle Frank was looking at Diana in a weird way. You know, he was saying you really filled out over the years, and he was kind of talking sexual, and Monet was not feeling that. But now she's telling Diana to use her power, you know, use her looks, her sex appeal and everything like that to get to Frank, to find out some information. She has to do whatever she has to do. And I guess this is why the show is called Power, because people use power in so many different ways to get what they need. You know, they use certain power in different ways. Like Ghost used his physical and street smart power. You know, Tariq, he's book smart and he's street smart. And Monet is telling Diana to use all the power she has over Uncle Frank, because you know it's gonna work. He would literally probably do whatever for Diana if she threw it at him. And that's actually sick, since that's her uncle. But some dudes are really like that, man. They be trying to flirt with family and stuff, but that's just sick. Then Kane walks in and he tells Monet that Tariq said Uncle Frank is a snitch. So Monet's like, what? What? Tariq said that? What else he say? And then Monet said that Kane will take care of Uncle Frank, so we know what that means, because we seen what Kane did in the first episode. He took care of that dude Rel just over a girl, so you know he's gonna take care of this dude Frank. Then we get to the party, you know it's jumping, you know it's rocking, it's lit as hell. Brayden got his Instagram live out, you know they're going live, he's with Tariq. And then Brayden's brother comes up and he starts talking shit, and Brayden's like, man, you need to shut your mouth right now. And then there's a knock on the door. It's the campus police, and they're like, man, y'all need to shut this party down right now. So Brayden's brother is not trying to shut the party down, and he's like, no, that ain't happening. And then he swings on the cop, and then, you know, they grab him, they're getting ready to arrest him. Well, not really arrest him because they're not real police, but they grabbed him, and then Brayden walks up to him like, man, chill. He said my last name, and his last name is Weston. And she said, like the swimming pool, and he said, and the auditorium. So they let his brother go, and then they continued to party. And I think Tariq seen this as a great opportunity, because he seen there was a lot of people partying, doing drugs and stuff. So it clicked in his head like, man, maybe I can make a lot of money. So he's definitely gonna hop back in the drug game as soon as possible. Then we see Tasha. She starts peeping some stuff that's happening between one of the inmates and the guard that was picking on her. You know, this inmate is saying, you need to get me a Plan B pill right now, or I'm gonna turn this whole block upside down. So Tasha sees what's going on, and so she's thinking of what she can do to help this inmate so she can have somebody on her team in jail, so she doesn't get messed with, you know, so she has a friend. Then we see Davis McLean and Sax. They're having a meeting with the judge. They're discussing Tasha's case, whether she's a queen pin or not. Then we get to Tariq and the whole family and everybody at the funeral. You know, the funeral is getting ready to be started. The grandma's there, Yaz is there. They're looking at Raina's grave. They're saying that they'll always miss her, you know, she'll never be forgotten. And then Tasha ends up rolling up. You know, they ended up letting her come to the funeral. And I don't know how this was possible, because she's a suspect in the case of murdering her husband, James St. Patrick. So how she was able to come to the funeral is beyond me. Tasha was gonna speak, but then they put handcuffs on her. So Davis McLean is like, nah, you can't speak like this. This doesn't look good. You know, you have her in shackles. That's not gonna look good to the public. So Rashad Tate ends up showing up too. And he says, you know, I'll speak some words for our fallen brother. And then Tariq's like, no, I'm gonna do it. But before Tariq goes up there and talks about his father, he runs into Uncle Gabe. And Gabe is telling Tariq that he reminds him of James so much. Tariq is like, but I don't even look like him. And that's when Gabe says, no, but you're smart like him. He basically was saying, I see potential in you just like I saw in James. You know, James was in the streets and then he ended up making it out. He started a business and he did all kinds of things to make his family proud. And he said, I know you'll make your family proud too, and I know you'll make your father proud. And then Tariq says, yes, sir. So everybody's carrying the casket. Rashad Tate is one of the people that's carrying it. And I don't know why Tariq wasn't one of the people who were carrying the casket. He should have definitely been one of the ones carrying his father's casket. But anyways, they're getting ready to put Ghost in the ground. And then Reverend Mastodon is talking about Ghost. I know you guys remember this Reverend from Power Season 4 and Season 5. I'm pretty sure he came into Power Season 4 when Raina died, because Ghost was so upset after Raina got shot and everything that he needed to go to the Reverend and talk. And he was so broken up about everything, about Raina passing and everything that was going on with his life and Angela and everything. So he went to the Reverend and he told the Reverend that he wanted to be a new man. So the Reverend just spoke good things about James. And then here comes your boy Tariq. He goes up there, and this right here is probably the best scene of the entire episode, because this shows real growth in Tariq. Simon Stern wanted Tariq to talk good about Ghost. You know, Davis McLean wanted him to talk bad about him, but he went up there and he didn't really say too much bad, too much good. He just went with the flow. He said that his father was a complicated man. He said he didn't really know him as much as he thought he did. He said you never really know a man like that. But he said he did always try to do the best he could for his family. And he said, my future is going to be what his could never be. I'm going to make him proud. So he pretty much said good things about Ghost. And you could tell that he was feeling real bad in this moment when he was speaking about him. Now, does he regret shooting Ghost? I don't know. It seems like he did. It seemed like he was being genuine when he was up there speaking. But we know how much Tariq be faking stuff sometimes. He could have just been faking the whole thing. I don't know. But I feel like some type of way he does feel bad about it. Then we see Tariq and Yasmin looking down at the casket as it's being lowered in the ground. So then we get to the judge's chambers. Saxe is still back there with Davis McLean, and they call Sullivan back there. She's talking about all things involving the case and about how she didn't know who Tommy Egan was when Tasha said something about Tommy Egan, but she had to look into him. And she was just answering questions that the judge had for her. And then Saxe says he has a rebuttal witness, so they call in this witness, and it's no other than your girl, Blanca Rodriguez. So Saxe is asking her questions, and she wants to say more than Saxe is letting her say. Saxe is telling her to keep it to a yes or no answer. She's trying to go into more detail, but Saxe doesn't let her, and the judge says that there will be time for that when she testifies at court. So when this meeting is over with, Saxe leaves the room, and Blanca Rodriguez goes up to Davis and Paula, and she says, look, when this goes to trial, put me up there, I will testify. Tasha was no queen pin, and Saxe is dirty as fuck. So Blanca is definitely going to be one of the key pieces that helps put Saxe in jail or something like that. Saxe's life will get ruined again. Now we see Uncle Frank sitting in the bar. He's drinking. Here comes Kane. He walks in the bar, locks the door. You know what time it is. He clocks him on the head with the gun, pistol whips him, knocks him out. He pulls him into some back room or whatever. He shoots the hell out of him 2 or 3 times. Uncle Frank is now dead. You know, he starts cutting up the body parts, the arms, the legs and everything. He starts putting them into some kegs. You know, they transport him through some subway system or whatever. Kane starts carrying the kegs out. Drew starts grabbing them. They load him into some truck, and that's that. Uncle Frank is dead. And we knew the moment Tariq told Kane that Uncle Frank was a rat that he had to go. And I was surprised they brought him on here and killed him that quick, because David Ziyech, he's a good actor. You know, he's been in many things. I thought maybe he would have a role on this show, but I guess not. Then we see Diana come to Tariq's dorm, and she's saying to Tariq, you know, that was impressive how you peeped out that Uncle Frank was a rat. And then Tariq asks her for a favor. He says, can your dad get my mom something in jail? So then Diana goes to Monet and says, can you help Tariq's mom get something in jail? And she says, yeah, I can work with that. So she's definitely gonna make a call to Lorenzo and get Tasha what she needs. Then we see Tasha, she gets a book called The Great Expectations, and that's how she knew it was from Tariq, because she knew Tariq was studying this book in college. And then there's a phone in there and the Plan B pill attached to the page of the book. Tariq comes in the dorm and the phone's ringing. He answers the phone and it's Tasha. She's like, how did you do this? She said she's so proud of him. And the things that she's proud of Tariq over, I'll tell you, man, Tasha's something else. But then Tariq says, Ma, remember how Ghost always used to say, there's only 2 ways you'll end up, dead or in jail? Well, I think I got a 3rd way. Well, I want to know, what is this 3rd way? Then we get to Kane, and he's pulling up to the house, and he sees that cop that Monet is sleeping with. He sees him pull up in regular clothes. He don't got on his cop uniform, so he knows something is up. He circles the block, and he seems pissed off. And then we see the cop come in the house. We see Monet, and he hands her a little package, a little envelope with some information in it. And apparently it says that Uncle Frank was a snitch. And then he says Frank is missing. And then Monet says, well, if he was a snitch, it could be anybody, right? So then she asks him to find out information on Tariq St. Patrick. And that's the end of the episode. Now, this was a very solid episode. I thought it was good. I still like the first episode better. There was a lot of things happening in this episode. Of course, Kane got another kill. We might just see Kane kill somebody in every episode. Tariq, it seems like he's starting to get in good with the Tejadas. You know, it seems like maybe they'll start to trust him a little bit more. Of course, Monet is always going to be suspicious of Tariq, because we've seen in multiple trailers she's asking about Tariq. I feel like Tariq will become cool with Drew and Kane. And obviously he's cool with Diana. They like each other. But the question is Tariq using this family to get what he needs, just to get a connect? We just gotta wait and see how it all plays out. But this was a very good episode. Seriously, I can't wait for the 3rd episode. Keep supporting your boy, and I'll be continuing to bring y'all Power Book 2 Ghost content in the future. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe, and smash that notification bell so you can never miss a video. Let me get out of here, y'all. It's your boy FuturisticMike, and I'll talk to you on the next one. I'm out. Peace.